Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Cavalier on ABC. Alright, so I got to check this one out actually on Monday. ABC ended up basically airing the premiere a little bit early. They ended up doing a kind of a special kind of event release of it after the Oscars, if you will, which was actually really smart because they would have got that lead-in audience, right? So you totally understand why they would do something like that. But anyways, so I got a chance to see this Monday, then the day after. I just, decided to make the review now, though, because I know the actual premiere, where everyone kind of, knew it was coming and was able to see it, was last night, right? And so I wanted to kind of wait a little bit to make sure that everyone has seen it, to make the review. So, anyways, we'll go over kind of a kind of recap of the episode, I guess, kind of recapping the main events, also setting up the characters for the series going forward as well. There will be some light spoilers, but as always, it is a pilot, it is a premiere, so any of the spoilers in this review about this episode are probably not going to spoil anything too major for you going forward in the series, of course. So we'll go over a recap, and then I'll get to my kind of overall thoughts of it, with a rating, favorite character, and maybe just talk about what we're going to see going forward with the series, in the rest of season 1. So anyways, I really do appreciate, you checking out this one. Love to hear your thoughts of this premiere. From what I've heard so far, I've kind of heard two extremes. Like, a lot of people really positive on this one, really liked it, and then pretty much, everyone else is kind of really negative on it. So I really would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. To me, my kind of initial thoughts on this is it exceeded my expectations, and it is good at what it's trying to be. That's all I'm going to say for right now. And of course, we'll dive into a recap here to start. Okay, so we first get introduced to Agent Will Chase, who is nicknamed Whiskey Cavalier, as in the title of the show, right? And so he's, of course, played by Scott Foley. I know him for the most probably from Scandal, but he has been in various other roles, of course, but he was amazing on Scandal. Obviously kind of a pretty face, but I think he's a pretty good actor too. So he's kind of got both going for him, I guess, if you will. Of course, I think he's going to be really good in this role. This is kind of actually similar to the role he had on Scandal, if you've seen that show. And so I think he's going to be great in this. But anyways, so we get introduced to Scott Foley's character, Whiskey Cavalier, or Will Chase, who basically is going through a breakup, right? Or just broke up with his longtime fiance. And, obviously kind of in a tough place emotionally at this point, kind of getting off of this relationship. And even to the point where his boss believes it's starting to affect his work, at the department as a top FBI agent, within his department. So, of course, this is a department located in Paris, France. But, of course, it's the American FBI kind of, division located in France. So, of course, we get a ton of locations in this one. We get Nuremberg, I believe. We got Paris, we got other places in France, we got Russia, of course, Moscow. So a lot of different locations here across Europe in this one. So basically, boss is worried about this relationship and kind of where his emotional level is, where his mind is at. But he decides to give him another shot, basically to show him that he's still able to do the job, right? And so this, basically another shot, is a mission to Moscow, Russia, to pick up this hacker that hacked into American databases and is, I guess, threatening to release this information, which could be catastrophic to the government. And of course, this is also creating threats because other foreign, groups and threats to the U.S. are looking for him and have actually captured him right now. And that's kind of the mission going forward. So it is, basically Will's mission then to go and get this guy, pick him up, and bring him back to Paris. So, however, when he gets there, he gets in place and he's ready to basically, take the target back from these guys. He's sitting across at a bar, and things start to go wrong as suddenly this stunning woman in this, red kind of, just really kind of bright dress, right? Really captivating there, and obviously meant to be, right? So this is, of course, Frankie Trowbridge, a CIA agent who is undercover, and, of course, played by Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead. And that's kind of the big interest in this show as well. As me as a Walking Dead fan, and also a lot of people definitely know who Lauren Cohan is, and probably love her as an actress as well. So anyway, so she meets up with him in the bar and essentially distracts him, ends up cuffing him to the bar there. So basically delaying him and not able then to basically complete the mission and pick up this hacker guy, right? So then this results in her taking the hacker, whose name is Standish, right? Edward Standish. And so she ends up picking him up. Of course, he's played by Tyler James Williams, another Walking Dead alum. And so this was really great, where she kind of takes the control of the whole case all of a sudden, and he's sitting there at this bar without the target, right? The target's gone. So, of course, after then, Will pursues her in a high-speed car chase. One of the best scenes of the episode, in my opinion. I thought it actually looked really good, too. The show definitely does look like it has a budget, and they're definitely not, they're not cheaping out on this one. Although, remember, it is a pilot, so, a lot of that budget would be allocated to this pilot rather than some other episodes coming in the future. So just remember that. So anyways, so then basically they get in this big high speed car chase. Frankie ends up hitting him right after he basically gets out of his car. She ends up hitting him, takes him into the car with the hacker in the back seat, and then ends up taking them both to this rundown factory where we meet up a little bit with her partner Dimitri, who quickly ends up to be just a traitor, I guess, if you want to say. Totally tries to sabotage everything, right? Tries to sabotage the whole mission there, where the next morning, her partner there, as I said, blows up their helicopter, which was their ride out, right? Basically tries to sabotage the entire mission, and who comes to the rescue but Will Chase, right? He comes to the rescue, shoots him down, and then also then points the gun to Frankie, and the tables completely turn. And a really funny scene there where, he shoots the gun up, shoots up in the air, and then, of course, Standish, Tyler James Williams, kind of comes running back. That was a funny little part there, and that was also in the trailers too. So then, of course, throughout the rest of the episode, we kind of go through this same, antics, if you will, right, with the two kind of fighting for control of the case, and also Standish, the hacker, right, obviously both wanting to take them back to their, basically respective departments in the CIA and the FBI. And also that's a thing too, where they're kind of competing in this as well. So anyways, so they're kind of going back and forth here. We see that, Will locks her in the back of, so first Frankie locks him in the trunk, and then he locks her in the trunk, and whatever. So then they meet up on the train, and they find out that the groups, I believe they're in France at this point, or Germany, sorry, they're still in Russia at this point. So, one of the three. And so they find out that these groups in Russia have made them, and actually there is a bounty out on their heads right now. So basically this results in that Frankie ends up getting shot, trying to get into this taxi, where they escape from the other guys, right? Kind of, out of the frying pan into the fire situation there. They go to get in the taxi, and she gets shot. And that was pretty crazy stuff. So, of course, coming out of the train station there, she gets shot, and they're able to hop in the taxi still and kind of get the hell out of there, right? So basically forces all three of them then to Will's partner Ray, his cottage that they talked about earlier in the episode. So then we get to see that Will helps Frankie's bullet wound from infection. And this was kind of a nice scene. The first scene where they actually, you saw some emotional attachment between the two, right? You saw some actual, instead of just trying to beat each other up and, locked other in a trunk, right? They actually, were bonding in a way, I guess, and he was able to help her out there before she went unconscious, of course. But the big part here is that he finds out that Ray is the one who has been sleeping with his ex-fiance, which is obviously, it's a bit of a cliche. I will give you that for sure. It is, and it was a little bit predictable. But I thought just the way it turned out and him kind of immediately just punching him right across the face. Was actually kind of funny, but also you totally understand it. It was definitely good. So then tables turn, right? Everything kind of comes to a twist here, where his boss comes in to arrest the hacker, and he says that he's going to take him in himself. So, of course, Will is a little bit skeptical at this point. He's like, well, I'll take him in, right? I'm the arresting agent. And it turns out that his boss has gone rogue. Again, a little bit predictable, but also kind of a nice twist to end off the episode. But again, a little bit of a cliche, right? So it ends up that his boss was the traitor in the inside that Standish's program found. At one point, we hear Standish reveal that he's found details about a mole in the FBI. And so, of course, it ends up that this boss was the mole the entire time. And he, of course, is coming to get Standish because he doesn't want that information to get out. So, anyways, then he points his gun at Will. It looks like everything is coming to an end, and the boss is just about ready to kill Will. He also shoots Ray, right? So then just as he's about to pull the trigger, Frankie comes to back on the operating table there, the dinner table, right? And she ends up throwing a tampon bomb at the other side of the room there, where it explodes. Also some really cool stuff there, and I'm hoping we'll see more of that stuff, like kind of advanced technology, if you will, for these spies, right? Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Spy Kids, right, and all that equipment that they had, right? So yeah, it was kind of cool. So the bomb goes off, of course, giving Will enough time and a distraction then to where he gets a knife and just chucks it at the boss, and basically stabbing him right in the chest. And he ends up killing him. So that was actually a really kind of cool sequence there, where Frankie's able to come to the rescue and they're able to kill the boss. But again, you see, they're always fighting, but then they do come together for a common objective, which of course was to get the bad guy in this situation, and also the other situation at the train station. So awesome stuff there. So then to end off the year, in the event of them taking down the traitor boss, right, so they get a new assignment and are now a part of a team working together. And so this now includes Standish, the doctor woman that we've seen before, and of course the bartender guy who was back in Moscow in that, of course, he wasn't just a bartender. So 5 of them now are on this team and now working on a new assignment, and then we get to end it off. We are working as a team, and both Will and Frankie try to say, led by me, right? And then they kind of look at each other and they walk out of frame. So a good way to close off the episode for sure, guys. Kind of a funny, and also a little bit of a cliffhanger to see where this, team, where this new kind of, group, if you will, this new group project will take them in the coming episodes. Alright, so now to my thoughts of the episode and some things that I want to point out. So, first of all, like I said off the top, my biggest thing about this show is it is good at what it is trying to be. If you're tuning into this show for, a spy drama, with a bunch of, character relationships and, how that all goes, mystery, crime, and stuff, this is not going to be the show for you, right? But if you are tuning in to a Wednesday night, network show that's going to be entertaining, it's going to give you some laughs, you're going to see some, good performances by the main 2 actors, if you want to include the other supporting cast as well, and you just want to be entertained, you want to turn your brain off for an hour, be entertained, this is a very, very good show in that aspect to me. I feel like this is one of the better kind of network pilot, kind of buddy cop, if you will, spy, shows like this. I think it's one of the best that I've seen, at least, and I've seen a few. But to me, in that way, in the way that it's trying to be and not taking itself too seriously, I think it's actually a very good show, and I think it works really well in that aspect. But, of course, that type of thing is not for everyone, including me. I'm more into the dramas, the invested dramas, where you have to, really kind of think about things and focus, and the storytelling matters and all that stuff. But I will say that I found this one entertaining and funny. So then, of course, it exceeded my expectations. Again, I said this off the top, but to me, I saw the trailer, I kind of heard the hype about it. I I expected much less than this, but it did kind of come in around what I thought it would be. But to be honest, it did exceed my expectations, at least a little bit. I thought this was definitely better than what I was expecting going in, right? So then, of course, we see this kind of theme that I want to outline here between Frankie and Will, which is kind of the emotional, empathetic, spy or agent or, whatever you want to call them, versus the kind of hardcore, focused, non-feeling type of thing with Frankie, of course, right? And Will is the sympathetic one. So it is also a little bit of table turning here, right? Where the woman is the one who's kind of hardcore badass, and the guy is the one with an emotional side. So that was kind of a cool thing as well. It has been definitely done before, don't get me wrong, and it was probably better the first time it was done, but I think it's still an interesting concept, and I think for these two actors, Scott Foley and Lauren Cohan, I think it fits them perfect. I think Lauren Cohan being that badass, she's been that badass on Walking Dead for years, right? And Scott Foley has also been kind of the badass before, but he is also in Scandal, at least for me, he has been kind of an emotional guy as well. So to me, I think this works really well with the plot, but also the actors involved with the show, for sure. Also, this connects to the next thing. Great chemistry between Scott Foley and Lauren Cohan, especially for a pilot. Now, and again, it is a pilot, yeah, so for sure they did film this episode first. They would have filmed all the scenes in this one first before, any of the other episodes. So, to me, I was impressed by the chemistry it looked like that they already had on screen with each other just in this pilot. And also with Tyler James Williams, Tyler James Williams as well. I thought he worked really well with the two of them, especially in those car scenes where he's in the back seat. So, I thought that was really great, actually. The tone is pretty consistent. I've seen people talking about this, but in my opinion, after watching this one, I think the tone is consistent throughout. I don't think they ever take themselves too seriously. Though, maybe they are trying to take themselves seriously at some points, and it just did not work at all, and maybe that's how I've missed that. But to me, I didn't think any of these moments, and we had moments that you think would be serious, right? Like him throwing a knife at the boss guy, and stabbing him, killing him, Frankie getting shot. I mean, those are serious things that you'd think about, but they make kind of fun out of it, right? And we see the whole point where he's trying to remove the bullet for infection. They're making jokes and kind of laughing. And then, even when he kills the boss, after that, the repercussion, they're kind of jarring back at each other and kind of laughing. So to me, it's like they're kind of tackling serious events or serious situations, but they're putting their own kind of spin on it, their own tone, and I think it works really well. Again, this show is not going to be a serious crime drama, right? It's going to be fun, entertaining, and they're going to focus more on that than the actual situations at hand, and also maybe the character dynamic, the relationships, and stuff like that. And to me, if they keep doing that, if the tone stays consistent and they keep not taking themselves too seriously, I think it would work well. But again, if you feel different on that one, I would totally understand as well. So, very fast-paced. I say this for almost every pilot I watch, but I swear they're getting faster these days. All these network pilots always have a fast pace, but this episode, wow. I mean, they went through a lot of stuff in just 42 minutes. An hour runtime, but technically 42 minutes without commercials. They went through a lot, honestly, and so I felt like this one, the pacing was good, although I think you could slow it down going forward in the next few episodes for sure. Comedic value was definitely there. I had some good laughs at this one. Some people I saw that didn't find this too funny, but to me, I found it pretty funny. I really liked the chemistry between Lauren Cohan and Scott Foley, so for me, that worked. That really did work, and I found a lot of those moments and situations pretty funny. I thought they were actually pretty comedic, right? So then let's get to this. So, cliches, right? And you're going to see this with every network pilot. It's incredibly hard to make an original network pilot these days, right? Because it seems as though everything's been done, and then if you're working with a new concept, they always fall back to the same things that's been done before. So again, like I said, the main kind of concepts of this show have always, obviously been done before, right? This is nothing new. This is nothing too new. And a lot of the cliches, right? The boss was the traitor. His, best friend was cheating on was sleeping with his ex-fiance. All of this stuff. The hacker wasn't actually the bad guy. just a lot of stuff like that, right? Those are cliches that we've already seen before, and to me, again, made it a little bit more predictable than maybe it could have been otherwise. The concept, like I just said, has been done before, but maybe not with this tone or theme before. And I'm not sure. Again, I haven't, watched a ton of this kind of genre TV show, and so maybe I'm not the best to comment on this, but to me, I don't remember another kind of spy, FBI, kind of drama like this, crime drama, where they didn't take themselves seriously, like, at all. And to me, I think that's a real positive for this show, again, if they can stay on that kind of wavelength and keep that consistent the whole way through. And then lastly, I just want to echo this, that I'm going to stick around for a couple episodes. Honestly, my expectations were exceeded with this one. I think I'm going to stick around for a couple more episodes because, you know what, pilots can be really great. And like I'm saying, them not taking themselves too seriously, that can completely change with an episode 2 or 3. And so that is also why I'm kind of looking forward to the next couple episodes to see if they're able to stick to this same formula that they've built in this pilot, which honestly, I see way too many shows that fall off after the pilot, including The Crossing just recently last year. The pilot was, I think, one of the best network pilots I've seen, and the next 3 to 4 episodes just completely fell off that same thing, and they just completely forgot and lost what they just built in the pilot. So that could definitely happen with this show, and that is why I will be sticking around for a couple more episodes to kind of check in on what is going on. Alright, so then just to wrap this up, my rating for this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.2 out of 5. As I said, very fast-paced episode, kind of echoing all the same thoughts that I've already said, right? But fast-paced episode, chemistry was great, a lot of cliches in this one, not a lot of original kind of storytelling, writing in this one, but I felt like with what they were going for with this one, I felt like it worked. And again, the chemistry was a big part of that kind of tone that they were trying to set, and I thought it worked really well. The cast, I thought all the performances were pretty good for a network pilot. I think what you can expect, right? Obviously you're not going to get Game of Thrones acting or anything like Peter Dinklage or something like that. But, it's a network pilot, and I think the acting was all there. I think Lauren Cohan and Scott Foley were definitely really good. So, anyways, those are my thoughts then on the episode. My favorite character for this one then is Frankie Trowbridge. I got to go with her, Lauren Cohan. Again, her playing this badass, I think, is a perfect role for her, and I think she's going to really kind of enjoy this, but also flourish in this role. Because in The Walking Dead, she's been that hardcore badass, character, but she's also been kind of the emotional one. And so I think with her just kind of sticking to one in this show is going to be very interesting to see how she plays it. And to be honest, I really loved her performance in this one, and I really do like the character. Again, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to kind of, pick one or two of the characters already. But it seems as though Scott Foley's character is our main character, and she is kind of, coming along for the ride a little bit. But maybe going forward, they will have equal screen time and equal participation kind of in the main storyline. So we'll have to see. But anyways, for me, this episode, I got to give to Lauren Cohan for her performance in this episode. So anyways, guys, I will be reviewing the next, at least the next few episodes for this one. Hopefully we'll be doing week-to-week reviews for the season. So please make sure that you, come back for those if you're interested in that. And definitely stay tuned for more reviews. Hopefully we'll have them out on Thursdays in the following weeks for Whiskey Cavalier. So I'm looking forward to the next few episodes. Please let me know what your thoughts of this episode, are. Yeah, did you like it? Did you hate it? I know I haven't heard a lot of people in between, so I'd love to hear your thoughts for sure on this one. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. Really do appreciate it. And also, thank you so much for the support on the channel recently. Subscribers, views, likes, comments. Just really, really awesome stuff lately. So really do like to thank you guys for that. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel as well. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching this one, and we'll see you next week for Whiskey Cavalier Season 1, Episode 2.